Hello, my name is Martin Smith, and in this session, we'll be focusing on variations in names. The slides and speaker notes from the session have been uploaded as a handout. You can access the handout from our Land Registry Go-To stage by clicking on the icon highlighted with the red box on screen. YouTube watchers can click the link in the description below the video. The handout will contain the various practice guides and other pages referenced within this session. First, let's look at what you need to consider before you send us your application. The starting point is always the register, so make sure you obtain and look at the most up-to-date version of the property title you're dealing with. Look at all the documents you're submitting with the application and check the names of each party against the names of the registered proprietors in the register. We expect the names in the deeds to match the names in the register and also the identity panels in the application form. This includes the spelling and the order of names. A disposal of the legal estate, for example a sale or a mortgage of a property, must be made by all the registered proprietors. If a proprietor is not a party to a deed, you will need to explain why and enclose supporting evidence, such as a death certificate, deed poll, or power of attorney. If you represent the registered proprietor and there is a variation between the name in the deed you send us and the name in the register, we will only update the register if you send us evidence to account for the variation. We will accept the following documents as evidence: birth certificate, passport, driving license, marriage certificate, civil partnership certificate, decree absolute, deed poll, statutory declaration, or a statement of truth. Please note, if the evidence is supplied in a foreign language, we require a certified translation into English or Welsh. If you do not represent the registered proprietors, you must send us each proprietor's signed authority, allowing you to apply to update the register on their behalf. We will look at an example of this later. Our digital registration service can help by checking names against the register as you send us your application. It will prompt you to investigate if names don't match. Alternatively, you can send us a letter containing the following information: what the correct name is, what evidence you hold or have seen, and if the registered proprietor's name needs to be updated in the register, but you do not represent them, confirmation that you have their signed authority, enabling you to apply on their behalf to update their name in the register. This slide shows some suggested wording you can use when sending your signed authority to us. You can also use this for changes to deeds sent in for registration that contain other errors, such as spelling mistakes, that need to be corrected on behalf of the registered proprietor. Some examples of common errors that lead to requisitions include a variation in the order of names. Always ensure that forenames in deeds and identity panels follow the same order as in the register. Take special care to ensure there is no variation in the spelling of a name. For example, Brian with an I and Brian with a Y. Variations in middle names account for a lot of requisitions. Sometimes the confirmed correct name shortens the name stated in the register by removing a middle name, for example. In these cases, we add the shortened name as an alias. This is a measure we take to protect against identity and registration fraud. We often see applications where names vary across deeds, for example between a transfer and a mortgage deed. Any variation must be accounted for, and the incorrect deed amended accordingly. Ensure that the name in the deed matches the name in the identity panels of your application form. As mentioned earlier, all names in deeds must match those in the register exactly. If the person signing or executing the transaction is not the registered proprietor, you need to account for this. If the registered proprietor has died, for example, you should provide a death certificate, grant of probate, or letter of administration. The example on screen shows transferors acting as executors for a deceased proprietor. Remember to make sure the names on the evidence match the register. It's now time for a quick knowledge check. In this example, we have a mortgage deed and an extract of the proprietorship register. So the question is, why would this application generate a requisition? Please pause the video to give yourself time to consider the question and write down an answer. When you're ready, press play and we'll view the answer. The answer is the surnames of Victoria vary. We have Victoria Jane Collin on the register and Victoria Jane Stuke on the mortgage deed. We would need evidence such as a marriage certificate to account for this variation. In this next example, we have the proprietorship register, panel 13 of form AP1, and panel 4 of the TR1 form. So the question is, why would this application require a requisition? Again, please pause the video to give yourself time to consider the question and write down an answer. When you're ready, press play and we'll view the answer. Now it's time to run through the answer. We have William and Helen Smith on the register. As you can see, panel 4 of the TR1 form states that Peter Smith is an executor for William Smith, and both Peter and William are also referred to in panel 13 of the AP1 form. However, as Helen Smith is on the register, she needs to be accounted for. Therefore, we would require evidence such as a death certificate to account for this variation. Further information and guidance on how to deal with variations in names can be found on the Land Registry's training page on gov.uk. So that's the end of the presentation. We've covered a lot of detail, so please make sure you download the handout, which includes the slides and speaker notes, and useful links that will help you submit quality applications. Thank you for watching.